In case y'all had not heard, there is a reverse lawsuit going on. Y'all might have heard about the 13-year-old that said she was trafficked by Jay-Z and Diddy, Jane Doe, that had come forward saying that in 2000, when she was 13, that the pair had their way with her. And we had covered this issue some time ago. And she was filing it in New York under the Adult Survivors Act and all that kind of stuff. And what she was saying is that they had molested her, or they R-worded her on MTV Music After Party. Okay. She was talking about she was dropped off. And remember, she did a so-called interview. And anyway, her lawsuit was eventually dropped with prejudice. And this was back in February of this year. It can't be refiled. But what eventually happened was there were some recordings that surfaced, and Jay-Z and his team have gotten a hold of them. Now, what has now become I guess you would call a vendetta kind of lawsuit. What Jay-Z's team is wanting to do now is file a defamation lawsuit, and he did so last month in August. Now, he is filing it against the accuser, especially having the audio files he says he has now. And in the audio files, they're saying that she said Jay-Z didn't do anything to her, and she was just there at the party. He's including Tony Busby in this lawsuit, and that he's alleging that Tony Busby pushed her to sue Jay-Z. Now, ABC News and other media outlets have gotten a hold of this audio, and the clip indeed does seem to say what they say she said. And it does seem as though that what her claim was doesn't carry any water based on her statements, because they're contradictory. You can't just say that you were done this thing too, but then in the audio file say that, well, he didn't do anything to me. I was lying. I was forced to do it, blah, 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 blah. So right now, the people that are being brought into this defamation lawsuit is Jay-Z, Jane Doe, and David Fortney, which is the co-counsel for Jane Doe. They're filing it under defamation of character, claiming they knowingly said it was false and they still did it anyway. They were wanting to do it for the extortion of money. They wanted to damage his reputation and link him to Diddy in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And there had been rumors about that at the onset of the case to begin with. The legal filing says that the state defendants engaged in a coordinated attack. This is what it says on paper. And it wants to emphasize that Jay-Z had nothing to do with the alleged abuse, and he calls it a shakedown. Now, as of September, he is seeking monetary damages for reputational harm. And the case is in early pretrial discovery mode, with Busby, of course, saying, I didn't do nothing. Well, it wasn't me. And of course, if there is audio of the Jane Doe, there's more than likely audio of Busby and her talking, which could end up being part of the discovery. And if that happens, most of Busby's cases might get tossed out. If it goes this far. She claims only recanted her thing about Jay-Z under pressure. So now she's claiming that what you heard was by coercion, not the lawsuit that she filed, but the statements and the recording was because of coercion. He would have to show at least a little bit of malicious intent, just like with any defamation. We haven't decided whether or not the audio that's out there used by ABC and all those people can be entered as evidence for defamation. Don't know that yet. They're still waiting on a bunch of countersuits that could come in because of this. And as of right now, they're waiting to see whether or not this will go any further forward. But Jay-Z at least is trying to say, I didn't do this. And if the audio files are correct, then he does have a case to stand on. Whether Diddy is going to get linked into it, yes or no, that's unknown. I don't know. This particular thing has been going on for a while, and I have a suspicion that you're going to see for the next 2 years. Listen, the next 2 years, easily you're going to see people filing lawsuits between Jay-Z, Diddy, back and forth for the next 2 years. Even if Diddy goes to jail, you're going to see a whole bunch more cases pop off. Now, here's what my prediction is. most of them will not hold water because they're depending on things that don't exist. Either people saying something, they say they have audio, but they don't. That's like with the Diddy case. We have this, and they never bring it forward. I have a suspicion that this is what will happen at Jay-Z's too. Because I don't think people are approaching this the correct way. They're going after the sensational, and everybody wants money. Everybody in these things seem to going after money. They don't want anybody going to jail. That's the crazy part to me. Like they go after defamation, and they'll go after a civil suit, and they'll tell you that they want um, to be compensated. If you were raped and trafficked, wouldn't you want compensation in the form of prison time? Why would you be looking for money? That's the biggest issue I see with it, and I think that is why it's not going very many places. They're going at this the wrong way, partially because I think they think that's what the best option they have is money, or nothing really happened to that capacity, and they're just seeking after money. Any case, we'll see how much this works out, and we'll see if it actually becomes something about the court itself, the case itself, or it'll become another fanfare tabloid kind of speculative things and nothing actually comes of it. And Jay-Z just goes back about his business. No actual people become jail time or nothing like that. I think that's what it'll end up being. That'll be just another fanfare, just like with the Diddy case. So we covered a lot, quite a lot. We've been on here for a while. So thank you for all of you who have come on, stayed on. And even though you didn't have questions, I appreciate your time anyway. We'll be back again another day with another set of conversations to have. We look forward to your comments in the comment section after this one. But please just remember, please wake up before you go to sleep.